Am I the asshole for telling my wife I won't hang out with her sister and affair partner? I, 26M, have been married to my wife, Sarah, 26F, for 5 years. My wife has a sister, Chelsea, 30F, with whom she's incredibly close with, and they pretty much talk every day. The three of us, and Chelsea's husband, Ryan, 30M, used to spend a lot of time together, going on double dates and hanging out as couples. About a year ago, everything changed. It was revealed that Chelsea was having an affair with a guy named Doug, 35M. This came as an incredible shock to me as we hung out so much as couples. Ryan took the cheating pretty hard and confided it in me how hurt he was for her stepping out on him. Honestly, I was devastated for the guy, and I felt a lot of anger about how everything had played out. My wife insists she did not know that her sister was having an affair. However, given how close she and Chelsea are, I have my doubts. Her and Ryan eventually divorced, and Chelsea has been with Doug ever since. Despite everything that happened, my wife and Chelsea have continued their close relationship, going to brunches and spas together, just as they did before. However, when my wife first brought up the idea of doing a couples activity with Chelsea and Doug, I made it clear that I didn't want to participate. I still think it's messed up how Chelsea cheated on Ryan, sneaking around behind his back for so long, and then acting like nothing happened. My wife says the marriage is over now and it is time to accept Doug as part of the family. When Chelsea brought up the idea of going on a couples trip with her and Doug, I reiterated to my wife that I didn't want to hang out with her sister and her affair partner. My wife got upset, asking why I was harping on this and how it didn't affect me. I told her it did affect me because Ryan was hurt deeply by what Chelsea did. He trusted her, and she betrayed him in the worst way. Sarah said I couldn't judge their relationship because I didn't know what it was like. Sarah then told me that she still loves her sister and isn't going to abandon her because of the affair. I told her I wasn't asking her to stop talking to Chelsea, I just didn't want to be expected to hang out with Chelsea and Doug as a couple. Your wife is awfully comfortable with her sister's cheating. I'm guessing she knew everything and covered for her. You need to have a serious discussion with your wife. Are you sure your wife isn't cheating on you? If they are so close and she's okay with cheating, chances are she's cheating too. It's about time you dig a bit deeper. A big part of why cheating is such a FAFO situation is due to the fallout that involves people outside of the affair having a serious issue with cheating. You're not the asshole at all, and your wife and sister-in-law simply need to deal with the fact that you're one of the ones who doesn't approve of that kind of behavior. For what it's worth, I'm also agreeing that your wife's claim to have not known about the affair is suspicious, and while I hate to say it, I'd be clocking her inclination to sweep it all under the rug as a red flag, pointing to the idea that she might not be the most resolute partner as well. Birds of a feather and all. Not the asshole. I am always leery of people who are okay with cheating, especially if I am in a relationship with them. Poor social behavior needs to be shamed. Ignoring it and acting like nothing is wrong emboldens them. Not the asshole. She can't make you hang out with anyone you don't want to. Not the asshole. Your wife is welcome to hang out with her sister, that is your decision. But you also get a say in who you hang out with, and it doesn't have to be with cheaters. I wouldn't automatically assume your wife was also a cheater like some of the other comments are saying, since people will often excuse bad behavior from loved ones as being not that bad, but don't feel like you need to comply to the same view. Am I the asshole for refusing to go into our renovation house and remove wallpaper while 23 weeks pregnant? My husband asked me to go into our renovation house, which has no heating, the temperature has been in the minus the last couple of days, so the house is freezing, and no electricity, and remove wallpaper because I took a week off work and I'm free to do it. I am 23 weeks pregnant and starting to feel really heavy while doing normal daily things and taking care of our 18-month-old toddler. I have gone to help twice previously with my husband as he has ADHD and struggles to focus on one task at a time and instead jumps from one to the next. I refused to help this time because I found it unreasonable to ask me to go by myself and sit there removing wallpaper in the freezing cold. When I refused, his reaction was to call me ungrateful, as he has done all the work himself and I should at least do a little regardless of whether I am pregnant. Not the asshole. You shouldn't be doing that kind of prolonged standing physical labor in the cold watching another toddler while pregnant regardless of your time off. Also, why did you spawn with this man? He seems pretty fucking clueless as to what pregnancy involves. If a man ever called me ungrateful while I was carrying his baby for 9 months, I'd end that arrangement and remove my ungrateful ass from his life entirely. Not the asshole. Depending on the age of the wallpaper, it could have toxic glue and dyes. It's also dangerous for you to be doing work like that on your own. What if you tripped and fell and had no help for hours? If he keeps giving you shit, tell him that at the next medical checkup you will ask the doctor what they think and will explain husband's position. See how he reacts to you suggesting that. In Ta. Ask him who is going to be staying at home looking after the toddler and doing all the housework when you end up in hospital with pneumonia from working in that temperature. Your immune system is already working overtime during this pregnancy. You can't risk your health right now. Also ask him when you overdo it and get put on complete bed rest for the rest of the pregnancy, who is going to look after everything then also. I think your doctor needs to talk to him. Based on my own life experience, men often don't understand just how much your body is working 24/7 to create a baby. I had a similar issue during my first pregnancy and my doctor asked me to bring my partner in for my next visit so she could have a chat with him. It definitely helped change his attitude and he took on a whole lot more of the household chores after that so I could rest in the evenings. I worked full-time up until a few weeks before the birth. He wasn't happy about it, but he did it. Minus temps, no heating, no electricity, and he's expecting you to remove wallpaper? Is he for real? Sounds like he doesn't care about you or the baby at all. Not the asshole. I was removing wallpaper on my landing some years ago and unbeknownst to me there was a type of mold, spore under it that made me have a scary reaction, quickly spreading rash, disorientation and distress. I wasn't pregnant at the time. And it was horrible. Obviously this is anecdotal but making you work in a cold, potentially unsafe environment when you need to be taking extra care of yourself is madness. Am I the asshole for declining my best friend's wedding gift? 29 female. I'm having a Vegas wedding in August and my fiancé, 31 male, and I decided to make it a weekend celebration with all kinds of activities leading up to the big day. One of the activities on the itinerary is to attend a brunch, pool party spot where you have to pay to rent cabanas and chairs. My best friend, 30 female, said that as a gift from her and her boyfriend, they would rent a cabana for the four of us. I put gift in quotes because in my mind, when you give something as a gift, you relinquish all control over that item and the person you gave the gift to has complete control over what they want to do with said gift. So since she said the cabana was a gift for me and my fiancé, we said that we don't mind sharing it with the rest of our guests. However, my best friend is really adamant about my other friends, guests not being able to join us in the cabana unless they pitch in some money. So I assumed, if she's trying to control what we do with the cabana, then it's really her cabana and she's just sharing with us. So I told her that I appreciate the gesture, but I'd rather rent my own cabana and share with everyone because if I'm going to have a huge cabana anyway, I'm not going to charge my friends to sit with me. I don't mind sharing with my friends. And I get that my friend group is not affiliated with her, she doesn't owe them anything and that's fine, which is why I told her that she can go ahead and get her own cabana and I'll just get my own that I can share. But she's arguing that her intent was not to buy her own cabana, but to buy it for me and my fiancé and she doesn't see the point in having two large cabanas. Now she seems to be pretty disappointed that I refused her gift. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your interpretation of what a gift is and what it means is spot on. It sounds to me like she wanted to have a nice experience for herself and saw a way to AL significant other use it to cover her obligation, to get you a wedding gift. Obviously no one is obliged to give anyone a wedding gift, but it's kind of expected among close friends. Not the asshole, but I don't necessarily think your friend is either. I think she had decently good intentions but executed them poorly. Really her gift to you was more so an activity for y'all together, so it wasn't really just for you. Not the asshole, your best friend fails to understand. 1. You're a part of different friend groups as well, and 2. Want to celebrate your special day the way you want it and she has no right to control how you plan your parties. Not the asshole. She only wants to pay for food and libations for the four of you. This is not a gift, it's a pool parking spot with optional catering. Not the asshole, you're right, the cabana wasn't a gift. It was your best friend trying to control your event. As you stated, your friend group is not affiliated with your best friend and it seems that she's not comfortable with that. So, she tried a power play with a cabana that they weren't allowed to sit use. Not the asshole. She is being selfish, trying to organize a party with just yourself and excluding others. A good friend wouldn't put you in this position. I most certainly would not take this gift either, and mention that she's not your only friend and it's mean to leave others out. Am I the asshole because I think my daughter should get what she wants for breakfast? My F44 dad, 68, has always been frugal. His frugality has served him well. He has a beautiful home, savings, he's been retired for over 10 years, multiple rental properties etc. Recently my daughter, 15, and I drove up from Phoenix to visit him over the weekend. Typically my dad cooks breakfast every morning. On this particular morning, he didn't feel like it and told us we were going out to breakfast. This is a little unusual since he does not like to eat out due to the expense. He took us to a local diner type place and we all ordered. My daughter ordered the chicken fried steak. I heard my dad mumble something like, "The things you order." I thought he was just referring maybe to the portion size since my daughter is so small, but it didn't seem like a big deal at the moment. We all ate, my daughter ate all of her food. We both said thank you before and after our meal and were very appreciative. Later on that day while I was cleaning out his refrigerator, my dad says, "I can't stand it anymore." Gets out of his recliner and comes into the kitchen with us. He then goes into how our lack of manners needs addressing. He has this rule of etiquette that says that if someone invites you to a meal out, you should never order anything more expensive than the person that's paying. I think it's rude to put that responsibility on a guest. Of course, moderation in all things. For instance, I think it's rude if I took someone out to dinner and they order a bunch of drinks for themselves or an outrageously priced meal, but this was chicken fried steak at a diner, not a magnum of champagne. I was surprised when he brought it up. My daughter had told me that he'd mentioned it to her we visiting him at his winter place a few years ago, and I told her to let me know if it happened again and I talked to him about it. I got extremely uncomfortable with the conversation because I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone in their own home. I was trying to be as careful as I could be while still defending my daughter. I reminded him that if he had a reprimand for her to let me know, and I'll handle it. However, we will respect his rule when we are with him and apologized for any disrespect he felt as that was definitely not our intention. However, no, that's not etiquette that we, my ex-husband and I, are going to impart on her. He seemed pretty miffed about it, saying that it's a normal rule of etiquette and that we would feel the same way if it happened to us. We would absolutely not feel put out if a guest ordered chicken fried steak, lol. And for context, my daughter is a fantastic person. She's kind and respectful, she still goes and visits her grandparents. She's patient with his stories and helps him, they cook together, all kinds of nice things. She's a delight and does not need to be taught a lesson. I'm going back to my dad's house this weekend. If it comes up again, am I the asshole here? Not the asshole. Unless you order steak and lobster or something ridiculous like that. Being a few bucks more than the payer is fine. I would not go out to eat anymore with him, or I would just pay for myself from now on. Frankly, I would tell your father that if he cannot afford the extra $5 or so, then you will pay for the meals out. If he has cost restrictions for his treat, then it's not a treat or should be made known beforehand. He should know what assume means, i.e. makes an ass out of me. Not the asshole. You should never order anything more expensive than the person that's paying. If your father is such a stickler for manners, I'd wager that when ordering he defers to let women at the table order first, or at least as the seating arrangement allows, but still letting a woman at the table order first, in which case how would they know what the supposed price limit should be? It's true that common etiquette would be that you don't order the most expensive thing on the menu when being treated, but this is a diner, not a fancy steakhouse. I can't imagine the price spread is that great between a chicken fried steak versus an omelet. If someone else is paying, I always try to not go overboard, but with that said, a chicken fried steak at a diner is a standard meal. And I wouldn't necessarily expect a 15-year-old to even think about it as it's her grandfather taking her out. Very strange. I'm going back to my dad's house this weekend. If it comes to again, am I the asshole here? I don't understand. Are you asking if you're an asshole if your dad brings it up again? No, if your dad chooses this specific topic of conversation, that would not make you an asshole. Your dad has a weird sense of etiquette. What she ordered is perfectly fine. It's not like she ordered the most expensive items on the menu. What I want to know is, he has been your father for over 40 years and is just now saying what he feels is proper etiquette. Not the asshole.